Well, Nick Heath, 2 wins, 2 losses so far in the Aviva Premiership for Harlequins. What have you made of it all?
Well, it's been very disappointing, to be honest with you, especially with ball in hand. There's been too many inaccuracies, just simple drop balls, handling errors, and it's got to stop now, really. And we've had a very productive couple of days talking about it. Yeah, there are concerns, but we're not panicking. And we're addressing it at the moment, and it's just got to get back on the horse, as they say.
3 teams were nilled in the first 3 rounds. We've seen some impressive scorelines on the other side of it as well. Has the remarkable nature of the first month of the season been something the players talk about as well?
Haven't spoken about it too much, but it is unusual. I mean, you'd have gone into the season, anyone who didn't really know much about rugby, you said this is the most competitive domestic league in the world, and they would have gone, what are you on about? There's a 50-0, we were obviously on the end of one. There's guys being beaten by quite a lot, whereas it's usually within bonus point range. So it is quite different to what we're used to, I suppose. But the crowd have been seen plenty of tries. Unfortunately, not many from us.
Well, we hope that improves. It was a tough day at Sandy Park on Sunday for Quins. Without big changes in personnel at the club this season, are you finding it hard to establish why things haven't been clicking in the way they have been in previous seasons?
Yeah, you would think with the continuity of squad and everything, everyone would be on the same page. But I think there's certain things as well. Guys coming in key positions that probably haven't played much, that are probably sort of 50% match fit, and you do need direction, I suppose, and also probably I wouldn't say the team is, but individuals sort of lacking probably in high confidence levels. And look, you have peaks and troughs like that throughout the season, and unfortunately it's happened in the first month. So everyone's sort of earmarking it. If it happens in sort of December, you're in a bit of a rut. Some people try and blame the weather, or they've played a lot of games or whatever. But it's disappointing. But look, we've got to run a games now every weekend. We don't have to wait 2 weeks to put it right. We've got London Welsh this weekend, so we obviously need to put on a show there.
Just to touch on the captaincy before we approach the London Welsh game, you've skippered obviously at Harlequins and for England. How do you view the job that Joe Marler's doing?
I think he's doing a very good job. Look, ultimately, I mean, he's probably been one of our better players as well. And he spoke to me about the role and said, "Look, mate, the only thing you can really do, we'll help you out with tactical decisions or anything. If you've got any problems, there's enough leaders there. Myself, Robbo, Nick Evans, Danny. Look, you just lead by example and play well, and just get on with your job. Don't worry about other people." I mean, that's what I found when I was captain. Sort of early on, if you was to run a game, you're sort of more worried about the scoreline and everything, and it can impact your game. And look, the team hasn't been performing, so individuals probably haven't been starring as much as possible. But when you sort of break it down, he's been playing well. So
you mentioned Chris Robshaw there. He's been relieved of the club captaincy. Lawrence Delalio is one of the prominent voices saying that he's not sure about the decision, thinking that an England captain should be taking his club form and his club status with a bit of swagger into the national setup. What do you think of those sort of comments?
Well, it's up to Robbo. Look, I mean, Connor would have spoken to Chris and Joe. And Joe would have spoken to Chris, and Chris would have spoken to Joe when this is all going on in the summer. And obviously comes to the conclusion that that's best for all parties. And, the game moves on. I mean, I do remember actually when I was with England, Phil Vickery was captain of England and Lawrence was captain of his club when Lawrence had retired from international duty. So it has happened before. There's probably other examples, other instances as well. So, look, that's obviously a decision that's been made amongst those 3 who are the most important people amongst that, and that's it.
London Welsh on Saturday then. Conversely, lots of changes there this summer. Your cohesion of the squad potentially something that will give you an advantage.
Well, I hope so, and I hope the ability in the squad, to be honest with you, more than that. There's no excuses. There shouldn't be any excuses. We've got to put our game on the park, and that's the bottom line.